Welcome to UFO Man Live. My name is Tim, or UFO Man. And tonight I'm being listed as the main host, or Tim. So you no longer have to call me UFO Man because all my panel is my UFO Man team. So please welcome the UFO Man team. My co-host, Coley Weber.
Hello, everyone.
Nos, one of my group experts.
Greetings.
Odessa, who is also the controller and the maven of the chat room.
Hey, everybody.
And my very good friend, Nancy Timms.
Hi, everyone.
Now, tonight,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
Coley. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I apologize. I just over. No, do you want me to check it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. We're waiting for Laura Eisenhower. She may have gotten her time mixed up, and when she does come on, we will continue with our interview. She is coming on. It's just a matter of time. So let's go into our chat room, and Coley will be back. She's making a phone call. We want to welcome some people. Renee Cruz. Live Light, John P. Adventures. Welcome, John. Let's see, Gabber Beast. Good to see you, Gabber. Been a while. Second Star Survival. Hey, Matt. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Hey, welcome to the chat. Also, Andrew Rollins was in here a little earlier, so welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, and Renee Cruz, Mothman, Snoopy's, and Jessica Davenport. Those were our first 5 today.
Lisa Savoy, welcome.
Yeah.
Snoopton 100. Hey, Doug, Sightings on 18 Wheels is here. Yeah, that's awesome. He's our trucker ufologist who's out on the road delivering stuff to and from Iowa every night. So give him a big shout out. Welcome to Mothman. Thank you for your work on the group. I really appreciate that. Va Abdul is here. Welcome. Good to see you. You're an author who was witness to UFO 3 times. Cool. Well, I have to talk to you someday and discuss that more in depth. David Martin, good to see you. Who else did I miss? I don't think I missed anybody. I think we got everybody so far. What do you think, Odessa?
I think we've got everybody. Do you say good evening to Second Star Survival? We caught that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's Matt. It's good to see Matt. Oh, here's our co-host. She's back.
I apologize. Yeah, no, Laura. She's trying to get on. She said she couldn't see anybody, so I sent her text her the link. So I apologize.
That's good. Okay, at least we know she's coming, and she is trying. She's a very nice lady, so we hope to see her soon.
Can I say one thing before we kind of get going on it? There was for all the people I want to text and chat. I can't see it. I'm on my phone. I'm helping a friend move, and so I have to say because it's really I love chat. So there she is. Hey.
Hi, Laura. Welcome.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
I'm going to put you up here. I have to rearrange some people here. I know this is crazy. It's musical chairs.
Yeah. Rubik's Cube.
It's a fun game we like to play. Shuffle.
Yeah, because I have an order of which I do stuff. Okay, the reason why I do this, Laura, is this time when you're on, I can bring you up like this. Woohoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, guys, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower is here. So let's introduce her. She is a mother. She is a prolific speaker around the United States and elsewhere. She is an alchemist. She is also a practicing astrologer. She is a tarot practitioner. Her interests include the wilderness, exopolitics, health and healing, and she is an artist as well. I also know that she dabbles a little bit in ufology. So please welcome our guest, Laura Eisenhower.
Welcome.
Yay!
Yes.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's good to have you back, Laura. This time we have you all to ourselves instead of pairing you up with Elena Danan, which we did last time.
hmm
So welcome. If you could you let the people in the chat room and who are watching online know a little bit about yourself, because they may or may not know who you are and where your importance lies within the community.
A little bit more about myself.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have just been a public speaker since 2010, and I started speaking when I was ready to expose that I had been recruited to go off planet, to go to Mars. And it really opened up so much because I had done so much other research, and there was so much more to all of this than just, oh gosh, they were trying to recruit me to go to Mars. And it just ended up unfolding into just a lot of events and a lot of information that I've been sharing about Eisenhower's administration and what took place, and all that I've learned about ascension and our DNA and our galactic history and what we're really up against right now.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So what I want to dig a little deeper into is the fact that the last time you were on our show, you made the comment on our stream that your great-grandfather, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, was not directly involved with the Holloman Air Force Base 1954 alien landing encounter.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about all of that, and that's what I really get into in my book. I bring up all the different stories and witness testimonies that were documented. But yeah, it's very interesting when you hear about first contact with the Nordics and how they warned us about the Greys and the signing of the Greada Treaty in 1954. Everything really shifted for me when I met Dan Cooper, who's the senior advisor to the Earth Alliance, because in 1952, an unconditional surrender agreement took place under Truman to the Nazis. This unconditional surrender agreement meant that MJ-12 were the ones that were steering the just the whole disclosure, just the whole UFO, just everything about just the human government ET contact world. I mean, it's just very interesting to find out everything that he told me about, because Eisenhower's relationship with Val Thor just set up more than I had imagined. I was
Right.
like everybody else, hearing about the Greada Treaty, that Eisenhower signed a treaty with the Greys, but in actual fact, Val Thor had warned the Eisenhower administration about the Nordics and the Greys and advised Eisenhower and helped him to set up things like the Earth Alliance and the White Hats and the ICC, the USMC special section, which is a branch of the military, a positive branch of the military. And so, all these things were, put in place that we don't hear about. In 1952, that's when the UFOs flew over the Capitol.
Right.
And that was when we surrendered to the Nazis. So everything, from that point on, had nothing to do with him, because there were 21 levels of top secret information about the president at that time. So what they were strategizing is, how can we create false narratives in order to cover our tracks and hide behind all of this and make it look like, when disclosure happens, we can put the blame on Eisenhower for, signing with the Greys, when it actually began in the 1930s.
Right. Odessa says, from Francis Allen in the chat, can I ask, back in the day, was Dorothy, is that ever mentioned?
Dorothy?
Izat?
IZATT. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Snoopson 100 said, Nazis, we defeated them, didn't we?
No.
Definitely not.
They had technology that they had been developing in the early 20s, even with the Hanabu and the Brill. Isn't that the case, Laura?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's because way deeper history. Yeah, so we're given just a limited amount of information, just like we're given a limited amount of technology. There's many layers to all of this, and
right.
Yeah, so I just have been in the pursuit of just getting to the bottom of it all with a very open mind.
Right.
When I was first researching it all, it was, first contact with the Nordics. So Eisenhower signed a treaty with the Greys, but didn't he try and take down the Nazis? And why would he want to sign a treaty with the Greys, right? But I was willing to expose it if that's what happened. And just thinking, man, his hands must have been tied, or they must have done something to him to influence him to do such a thing. Why would he do that? And then, it was a huge revelation meeting Jan Cooper, who said, no, Eisenhower did not sign any treaties. It was MJ-12. This unconditional surrender agreement took place. And this is when I started to get banned and censored everywhere, when I started to talk about the unconditional surrender agreement, because that is not something that people in the disclosure community, talk about. The unconditional surrender agreement that happened in 1952. So that was huge. And the alliance that Balfour and Eisenhower had, and how Balfour petitioned the Guardians to assist humanity and set up just a lot of the positive forces, Earth Alliance. And
whatever happened to Balfour?
Well, Balfour, he's still around, and it's hard because there's different people that claim to channel him or have contact with him, and it doesn't all line up as far as what one is experiencing versus another. So, you got to figure there's imposters. They are able to just mimic things with their technology. That's another really important thing that we have to be careful of, is benevolent looking beings might not be what they claim to be. So
right.
I'm always very wary of the communications that I get from Balfour and from where I get them from. But Elena Dion and I have a special bond connected to Balfour, and how Balfour told Elena that, Eisenhower, did not sign the treaties, and that also working with some remote viewers, that I was around that time on Venus making an agreement to come in and incarnate into this family during this time, to bring about this kind of disclosure, which has been very challenging. So there's all these dots that connect. so I had influence back in his administration about these warnings and about the Greys and the Dracos. And part of the mission, and obviously the mission is like multiple, like it's like so huge. Lots of advanced souls being born, a lot of people with their missions, and this is how we're all connecting dots when we put together our research and come together in this way. But yeah, it was basically there was an agreement that the guardians would bring someone to their family to be able to share these truths, like the unconditional surrender agreement to the Nazis. And that's crazy because people think we did win the Second World War. And the war has become a war on consciousness. This is what we're seeing with all the indoctrination and everything that we're seeing in humanity, and how, humans are being groomed slowly over the last couple decades to accept, this pandemic and this wokeism and all these different, things that are, leading us really into a new world order. So being recruited to go to Mars and all this timeline stuff and like having this mission, and yeah, I'm sure you can tell it's taken a toll on me.
Yes, I can see it's exhausting you.
Right. So, yeah, my book tries to, because I know with people listening, just like, huh? Like, that's the gist of the book is the whole story of all of this, because obviously this is a prophesized time of ascension or some kind of awakening and disclosure, right? So there are weaponized and artificial and engineered versions of it that have been, that are being, created and that exist and that people are promoting and pushing. And this is the world we're in is just, my book called Awakening the Truth Frequency is, being in a vibration of some kind of truth that can blast away the distortions and deceptions and manipulations that are keeping us from that alignment to, what really happened and who we really are and where we really can go and the beautiful future we can actually create. So, Eisenhower's relationship with Val Thor and the Guardians and everything about the healing of the planetary grid network and the Guardian presence on the planet, it's very encouraging. The return of the mother energy I talk about a lot, and how the astrology and the alignments and everything confirms, that this is actually taking place. I try to, express to people, but we're just in this onslaught of techno intrusion that is really yanking people into so many distractions that it's very, very difficult to just, feel that that timeline is like firmly anchored, but it is. I mean, you can't destroy something that's like genuine and true and organic in its system. Whatever overlays, whatever like tries to overlay on top of it and manipulate it through, technology, it's just it has an expiration date. It's not, it just can't, continue indefinitely, because everything, begins to want to magnetize back to its, source, original, blueprint. And that's why a lot of these species, end up creating breeding programs and, doing all these things to correct these mistakes. And these are the sort of things that we're seeing in these times, when people make choices. And this is what we're trying to warn people about, don't do that, because what could that lead to? You could be a genetically modified human and turn into an EBE or a gray and then abduct yourself later on to get your genetic material back to reconnect with the soul matrix, So it's just it's trying
Do you think that so much is going on that people have a real hard time wrapping their head around the narrative? Because if there are so many layers of narratives how is it that the layperson would be able to distinguish between the truth and what isn't?
Yes, and that's exactly sort of everything about my book. What is, how do we just know or get to the bottom of it? Because there are so many possibilities and narratives. So we are the human vessel that has to be functioning at a level that can discern. And that's the most important thing. If you're true to yourself, if you just don't allow yourself to get sucked into, movements and labels and, indoctrination and social engineering, and you can like maintain a sense of self and connection to your soul, you will be able to see more clearly, what's false and what's artificial. You'll just know. Your intuition will guide you. You'll just feel that red flag or feel that, just like discomfort or just something doesn't feel right, and if it's really genuine and it's really solid, it might be like super illuminating. But yeah, they have technologies that can enhance that and make everything like look really good. I mean, we have to really claim it. I mean, we have to just do the inner work. I mean, it's a major boot camp down here. And that's a lot about my book too. It's like it plunges into the dark night of the soul and into the underworlds and processing it all and just facing, the having to go through the school systems and just like walk through human life while you're processing the enormity of something much bigger. But like, no, that's depression. Let's medicate that. No, that's anxiety. Let's give you a pharmaceutical for that. Oh, let's go to the psychiatrist. Let's go to the doctor. And I was that kid that was like, no, I want to understand why I'm feeling this way, and dive deep into it. And it's like, no, oh my gosh, no, there's my soul. That's what I'm crying about. This is why I'm angry. This is why I'm depressed. This is why I'm like, and let me listen to myself and see what these emotions and feelings and anxieties actually have to tell me, because maybe it has something to teach me. It shouldn't be medicated like there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with the world, because I'm looking at the TV and I'm looking at this world and it looks pretty screwed up. So go back to the divine template, of like humans and how that relates to our DNA. This is what fascinated me my whole life. And so been on a quest to be like, hey guys, all you black sheeps or, misunderstood people, I think we're on to something.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to go to Nos for a second. Nos, I see you thinking. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the social engineering. The same thing. I've talked to a lot of people about it. Is that the general population aren't even people, because they've been through so much social engineering on what they believe. And you got 2,000 denominations just of Christianity, all of which agree the others are wrong, right? Throw the rest of them in. Everyone in the world agrees everyone is wrong about the fundamental nature of reality itself, which means the human population isn't engaged with reality. They're not in a one-to-one relationship with reality, which is why they have such a hard time seeing anything real.
Right. Coley.
I know.
Oh, yay. Okay. So I just wanted to start off by saying, Laura, like, I know that I wanted to clear this up. Like, there was a rumor going around that, that you weren't authentic in who you were. And I have to see that Laura, seriously, we saw her birth certificate and she is exactly what she said. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's, I just wanted to say that because I know when something like that starts, it can like really poison everything.
Yes.
So I just, I wanted to clear the air on that. And
Wait,
Yes,
clear
so-
on what? Like proving
that you were, because somebody started it and it went around like wildfire, and so I just wanted to clear it up. I said
that you were not the great granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, but we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, after seeing your birth certificate, that you are 100% truthful in your claims, and nobody else should ever doubt that what she's saying is not true.
Oh yeah. My birth certificate. I've got pictures in my books of me and my family that I grew up with, the Eisenhower family. I mean, yeah, I talk to my mom all the time. It's like you don't even need a birth certificate. It's like this is my family. This is like
Yeah.
all you have to do is get to know me, and I'm like it's one step away from like my mom and my aunts and uncles. I mean, that's been I've lost a lot of people because of these things that go around because they search the internet. I don't see on family tree or you're an imposter. And I'm like, look on my mom's website. I'm like my mom just texted me. Like it's just like
Right.
yeah.
I think it's ridiculous that people question your identity at all.
Well,
I
it's
think
been
that's just
10,
ridiculous.
well, 13 years. And I have to say, I don't want to say disappointed because everything's awesome, right? Oh, it's always just so good. Everything's just in divine timing. No, right? I'm not that live and love person. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think it's been just like insane. Yeah, no, it's been like brutal.
Don't you think though, when you start to become making an impact, that's when people start to troll you. So in regards to your birthright, they were actually trolling you. They were attacking you because you were making an impact within the community. And that is what happens to all of us.
Of
I
course.
mean, I've been trolled. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's sometimes it's Comedy Central. It's just like it's like hilarious. It's
Right.
like, yeah, I don't really let it get me down. But when it's amongst or when it infects like the disclosure community or events and it's like being lumped into categories where there's like different dramas and conflicts, that's when it really gets weird.
Right.
That's when it really like has impacted me. But yeah, trolls and I got cyber stalkers like you would not believe.
That's why Coley wanted to set it straight tonight. That you are 100% who you say you are.
Oh yeah,
so that
and
everybody in chat.
I wish I wasn't. I mean, I could definitely take a different life than this one. I will.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
I want out. No, I'm kidding.
I have to say something. I find you fantastic. So I'm glad that you have this life and that you're able to communicate to us where we need to go with ascension and things of that matter, because a lot of us don't know how to start or even how to continue.
Right. No, I know. Yeah. So, I mean, it's sort of like being a bulldozer and like bushwhacking through a wilderness, it's just like knocking out all the obstacles in the way, just forging your own path, trusting yourself, being strong in who you are. And so understanding the astrology has been really helpful. Like the North Node, Aries with Chiron and Aries is really the growth period for humanity, facing the ego wounds, the battle scars, the warrior, like the Mars energy that's wounded, the sense of identity, right? So where is that being leveraged by the matrix system or whatever, cabal, gender confusion and leveraging trauma to pit everybody against each other? They're really doing great with that. But if we can really look at it like, no, not what we're being streamed or blasted with. Let's look at it within ourselves. Mars, Chiron, wounds of the ego. Where have we been targeted? Where have we been hurt? Where have we bought into an identity that isn't truly us because we wanted to fit in, or we were so rebellious that just anything connected to ego identity? What are the wounds, right? Needing to face that. And so what we see in our society is that it's being politicized, it's being just weaponized. And with the Libra South Node, also gender confusion and all that kind of stuff is being promoted. When in actual fact, we're looking at, where has our ego identity been wounded, and where do we need to look at those wounds in a transparent way and say, I want to reclaim myself and find my truth again without all that like outer noise, and you know, you really just know your soul again, and not just be a label or a movement or a thing, you know, that gets entangled in this divide and conquer. Just take a breath from it and just remember, you know, who you are, so that you can begin to maybe connect with people on a soul to soul level without it being, you know, all about, you know, what religion you are or what political party or what kind of food you eat. I don't know. There's something about unity consciousness that is about restoring our 12-strand DNA and the need to come together to help switch each other on. And this inverted matrix is creating an imitation version, complexity that is destroying our capacity to be able to do that, which is what is available. So we're either distracted into it, or we move through the really difficult processes, initiations, or whatever you want to call it. And that's what all these different, you know, challenges of our lives give us the opportunity to decide. So on a personal level, it would be, you know, do you need to leave a relationship or a job that's compromising you? On a larger picture level, you know, we really saw, you know, what people decided to do with the pandemic stuff. So we have a choice. And
Right. I
for the
do have a
ascension
question.
path, you just need to just take a break and not just get so overtaken by the forces out there. You know, there's so much
Right.
that we can connect with this earth and where that trajectory is taking us and our own inner work that can elevate us and expand us beyond, you know, a lot of the trickery and manipulation that is happening, I think.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit more about who groomed you and why in your early stages of life to live off-world at a Mars colony?
I wasn't groomed. I was not in an MK Ultra program.
Okay.
I was targeted. Oh, you got to read my book. It's
I will definitely read it.
yeah, because it's just, yeah. So Eisenhower's not an Illuminati family bloodline, like farmers, like Mennonite, like Amish background, right? My childhood, I wasn't groomed. I mean, we're all groomed, right? School systems,
Right.
parents.
Right.
Enculturation is real.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, so who groomed me? I mean, I was a rebel. I was like the kid you couldn't groom, so I don't know how to answer that. I was like
Okay.
always in trouble, didn't listen.
Okay. Well, I guess what I was
Me
getting
too.
at was who targeted you to live off-world and why?
Oh, okay, yeah, it's connected to MJ12, and it's a group called the Aviary. You can look it up, and
Mhm.
the Aviary. Yeah,
There are 12 of them, right?
yeah, MJ12, and the Aviary is like an extension or a branch of MJ12, and they use looking glass technologies to target me in a past life, with a partner that they knew that I was connected with, and they wanted him to lure me in. And because they knew that we had a connection, because they saw that we had a connection in a past life, they started abducting him and mylabbing him when he was a child and preparing him. He was the one that was groomed, not me. And then, yeah, I met him and I thought I was just meeting somebody, right? And I had an instant attraction because, yeah, I did have a familiarity on a soul level, and kind of fell for him. Then he was talking about, oh yeah, this, you know, going to Mars and this and that. And then he was telling me about all these abduction experiences he was having. And he was having a lot of physical symptoms, like we hear, you know, when a person has abduction stories, you know, bleeding out of their orifices and just all this stuff. And when I was with him, he was telling me, he's with this secret group and we need to go to Mars. And I'm like, and I'm trying to talk him into, no, we need to be on Mother Earth and, Sacred Union. And I was just like the Holy Grail, Grail King, and all this stuff. And he was like, no, you got to go to Mars and this and that. And then I was like, you're talking about having a handler and you're getting phone calls and you're disappearing for weeks at a time and you don't remember. And every time you want to tell me something, you take out all the batteries of our phones and our computers, and then you tell me stuff, and then you pretend that it never happened when you put the batteries back in. And he's like, okay, it is nuts, right? My life has been nuts. So he was, targeted and a part of, he was brought into the aviary, this partner, right, that I met. And he was the person that would have been the bait to get me to go to Mars. Because they knew, that was the best way to target me because I'm a Libra. I'm all about love. And so I go into that about my book, even high school, like my first boyfriend. Oh my God, I'm so crushed. And I was like, as much as I, love this man and I loved him in other lifetimes, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go to Mars. I felt very prepared as a child to stay on Earth and knew in my soul that we were going to heal this planet and this planetary grids, and the mother energy was going to return to this Earth, and we were going to wake this planet up, and there was going to be like a great awakening, and we would reveal all this stuff instead of like just go off to another planet. And it's not that agenda was necessarily like super, super dark, because there's many levels of the aviary. Very interesting characters in the aviary, and they all have bird code names. Yeah, and what's crazy about my book, it's gone through so many stages. Like it got like kind of destroyed and I had to like piece it back together, and I'm afraid to even read it. So I'm like hoping and praying like it explains everything as good as as it happened. But yeah, you guys need to interrupt me. I'm kind of rambling on here.
We do have a question for you from the chat from Sightings on 18 Wheels. He's wondering how this partner that baited you would get to Mars in the first place.
He did say the word arc. Exactly. How did he know that? He said it would be an arc, and it seemed like a well-intentioned thing because we all know this planet is in a lot of trouble. I mean, and it makes sense that we would want to colonize other planets. But if you look at the history and everything in Eisenhower's administration and just how I was prepared as a child to like not go along with it and to stay true to, staying here on Earth. Yeah. And I get into that in the book. And I could share little like segments of it if you guys want, but about, so it's a terrible position because you feel like you're going to die if you don't tell the truth, because you need it to be out in the open because it's safer that way, right? But you don't want to be out in the public. And then you're also concerned that there was a part of it that was a good idea because, yeah, like this planet is really messed up. Of course, human colonies should be established on other planets, So this is what's crazy. Like, think about what Eisenhower went through with D-Day, right? When you're like placed in a position where the decisions you make can alter the trajectory of the human race, and all you want is for everything to be okay for humanity and for the earth to be okay. And you just love, and you're a person of like love. And, I'm like, are you sure you guys picked the right person for this mission? I'm like, I even said that today. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway.
I look at it this
Absolutely.
way. Anybody who listens to The Doors is a good person. And I heard you listening to The Doors on Facebook. So there you go.
Oh my God. I was hanging out with my friend. We were just hanging out.
I
Just
wanted to tell you
something.
that Gabber Beast TV said, "That's my fault. I told 18 Wheels all about the arcs." So it was Gabber Beast TV that actually knew about the arcs.
I don't know.
I've heard about the arcs for a while now, that the arcs are being activated all over the world and in space and under the ocean.
Well, the Mother Ark. I mean, yeah, it's Noah's Ark. I mean, the Ark of the Covenant, Arcturian.
Arcs are everywhere, yes. Okay, I'm going to go to Nancy Timms. Nancy.
Well, I'm just sitting and listening and enjoying it. I think you already know that I kind of see humanity as being played and toyed with, and that we're at a point where we need to stand up for ourselves and tell the truth and put as much positive, good vibration, help people to raise their frequencies so that we can overcome and become the human beings that we were meant to be, because we've been played and toyed and dumbed down for so long. It's time. And, so you're doing the right thing. I don't know why you're beating yourself up about it, because you already know you're doing the right thing. But it is hard. I do know that. But we have to fall a little bit to realize the great thing. So.
Oh, me beating myself up?
Yeah.
No, it's just part of the.
Yeah.
I'm not beating myself up. I don't know why people are beating me up, but I can take it. No, I know who I am. I know what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm not really beating myself up. I'm more feeling kind of beat up. But I got quality over quantity. Good buddies.
Got it. Yeah, you do.
Some people get it, and those that don't, you eventually will. Just if you're spending so much time like wanting to hate on someone, maybe it's because you are rejecting yourself, and you need to just come home to you.
Exactly.
Like, come on. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, you're more than welcome to be a part of our family.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes. I love the renegades. I was one too. So I got stuck in the coat closet in kindergarten for talking. I was like, it's never ending. So I love that. Yes. Keep going, girl. You got that.
I have to underline this. Coley refers to you as her soul sister. So there you go.
Nicole, it's so sweet. I love you, Nicole.
I know. I'm like, I was so excited. I absolutely love it. But yeah, you see how the soul, like when you talk about it, it's just like such a connection. So that's amazing. I love hearing you talk.
Oh, thanks.
Odessa, you're up.
I just have a couple things to say, just on a personal level, just to you. Thank you so much for being here, because you're talking about getting back to you, getting back to yourself, and standing up in yourself, right? Filling your own skin and being true to yourself. And that is like one of the most important messages we can get out there. So I just want to say thanks for that.
Oh, thank you. Cool.
Yeah. Nos.
I wanted to ask, what do you think is the most likely path for humanity as a greater population to come out of their sleep, actually achieve consciousness?
Okay, what do I think?
Well, it's all of the problems with like disclosure and everything like that. It's about power, right? It's all about power, and the general population doesn't care that they've given up all their power, right?
Right.
They've gone through the social engineering, and they're not making an effort to fight back.
No, they're defending their captors.
Yeah, and so my question was, what do you think it's going to take for a significant enough portion of the population to wake up and start that snowball effect.
Yeah, well, it just really depends on the individual, which is crazy, right? You know, I mean, what next level psyop, false flag, or attack do we need to have for it to finally like make sense, or like finally like turn people around? I mean, we had 9/11. I mean, we've had multiple things that weren't enough to open people's eyes. What is it going to take? You know, it's sort of like a kid, you know, throwing, just wanting attention, even if it's negative attention. It just wants attention. It's like, what is it going to take? Something positive or benevolent? You know, when people talk about like the return of Christ or something benevolent, then it's all, yeah, that wouldn't even go well either, right? So,
Yeah.
it has to be so much about you and your own personal process and something that you can find peace with within yourself than anything outside of you. That's the only way that we can navigate the madness, is to get really, really like strong in our soul center, which means that you honor your emotions. You know, like if you're super like sad or depressed, it's like really like talk to it and understand it and be creative with it. Give it a voice. Give your anxiety a voice. Give your pain a voice. You know, these are parts of you that want to be set free, that want to be heard, that want to flow, that want to, you know, we're elemental beings. You know, instead of, you know, battling with it, struggling with it, embrace it and unconditionally love it and set it free and see what it has to say. And that will guide you in your life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what actually upgrades our DNA, you know, and everything about the dark weapons and how it's harmed our DNA, which are elemental. The nucleic acids are connected to the elements. Fifth element, mitochondrial DNA connected to the mother, and that bond was damaged. You know, this repair work, you know, means that we have to really feel all of this to acknowledge like what needs to be embraced. You know, to like we have to like just really feel it. And we're so bombarded and so distracted, and it's a very scary time. I mean, my gosh. It was nuts, you know, in 60s, 70s, even those years of like love and peace and revolution, most of those people have been captured by these psyops and these false flags and these agendas. It's just like, you know, it's going to take a massive breakthrough. And that breakthrough, you know, usually comes with some kind of life event. You know, sometimes for people, it's an accident or an injury or a disease even. You know, look at this as an opportunity instead of a curse, you know, to get to know yourself instead of get further away from yourself. Because the system wants you to give your power away in the face of that, when your body's actually crying for you to get to know yourself better and to unlock the keys of all that you are.
I have to say one thing. There is one narrative out there that actually got it right to a certain extent. And it's an ad for the US Army that says, "Be all you can be," which in effect, if you apply that to unity and being yourself as much as you can, then we're achieving what you just said. So that's good. So, Coley, back to you.
Okay, I just want to say I think that what you're doing is absolutely amazing, and you keep going on your mission. Like I'm all about it, and definitely on a local level. I've fought every step of the way, so I applaud you and I applaud the rebels out there. So I just want to say that, and I don't, you know, I absolutely love the background story and how this all came together. So I just want to know a little bit more about Val Thor and his relationship. I always love hearing about this, like just a little bit more details on that for people who don't know.
His relationship with Eisenhower or me or
Yeah, no, with Eisenhower, and then the kind of the communications that you've put together since then.
oh gosh, yeah. There's a lot there. So I could give you where do you want me to start? Just his communications with Eisenhower?
But yeah, and it's so interesting because of where he was from, and I don't know if a lot of people know the background on it, like, and how they came about and what they had done together.
Yes. Okay. So I really feel the part of Eisenhower's speech about a knowledgeable and aware citizenry could combat the rise of misplaced power. The warning about the military industrial complex.
Yeah.
That was very much, I feel, the kind of revelation, like this is, here's the message to share for humanity, because Val supposedly was put on VIP status for 3 years at the Pentagon. That didn't go well because shadow government and Joint Chiefs of Staff and all these 3-letter organizations and the control that they had made it clear that they weren't going to accept Val Thor's assistance. But Eisenhower wanted to work with him. So here's the warning. We have to be a knowledgeable and aware citizenry, which means we need to wake up. We need to understand what is the military industrial complex. It is, everything, media, news, Project Mockingbird, all the MK Ultra, Project Monarch, all many, many layers. Interplanetary corporate conglomerate, as being the lower level, the secret space programs and all that. Like there are enough seeds for some people to be triggered into like, ooh, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole or that rabbit hole. And like, I'm definitely like, oh my God, live in the rabbit holes. Like what? So Val, it seems, was in communication with Eisenhower before what Frank Strange says was when he was put on VIP status for 3 years, because Val warned about the Nordics and the Greys around the time of the unconditional surrender agreement under Truman. And in 1954, Eisenhower ordered an invasion of Dulce underground base to try and take out the Greys. That was the same year of the supposed Greada Treaty. Isn't that funny?
Right.
That there would be a false narrative saying that he signed a treaty when actually he ordered an invasion of Dulce. So we hear about the Dulce Wars with Phil Schneider in 1969,
Right.
but this was the first Dulce War. And he got the Green Berets and the First Army, and they lost 30-1, and realized that we were up against a very difficult force. So Val Thor helped him to petition to the Guardians to put a outer barrier around the planet and keep the nefarious and dark aliens from being able to come in and further infiltrate, and to also corner them so they couldn't just escape. So, when we hear about the White Hats, Eisenhower established the White Hats. They are doing the military operations to begin to take these guys down. And they are the military forces that are working to take down the ICC Nazi Draco alliance. So what's fascinating is he not only tried to defeat the Nazis in the Second World War, he went on to try and defeat the greater, bigger picture galactic war with the Dracos that, my mission, is a part of. And, all of us are a part of, right? Because we all have galactic memories and histories and positions. And, it's like, when you see the cover of a puzzle and it's like a beautiful, maybe, and then you see all the pieces and it's just shattered into many pieces, and it's all, we just been putting all the pieces back together. That's our DNA. That's our, coming together with our missions, with our purpose. And we can only really be able to do that by being true to ourselves. So people see in the book that there was a migration of souls in 1952, which offset that unconditional surrender agreement, that migration of souls will come in and be the whistleblowers, be the artists, and the people that would just dig deep into the lost histories, the things that we didn't learn in school. That's why I didn't go to school, because I was curious about all this other stuff. I'm like, this is great and all, but I think there's something else that you guys aren't teaching, and I'm going to go find out what it is.
But the lost histories also include the celestial histories.
Yes. Lisa Royale, Prism of Lyra goes into that a lot. And that bigger picture. And of course, Lisa Renee, Keylontic Science, Ashiana Diane, helps us to see, that much, much bigger picture. The Dora Torah texts that were compromised, the freedom teachings about how to be a Christed being, the original teachings of the Essenes, all these lost. That just turned into religion, all this divide and conquer, all this. Yeah. I mean,
it's the stuff they're hiding
we've
behind.
Not evolved. We've become stupider, more dumbed down. And now it's like rescue mission. Like, do we really? It's like multidimensional madness. I always tell people I'm multidimensionally challenged.
Isn't it kind of, Laura, isn't it kind of where a lot of this lost civilization knowledge is actually being buried under what they call forbidden knowledge? Yeah, I see it out there all the time. They're pushing forbidden knowledge. And it's like, I would rather not push that narrative and say, what is the knowledge? Teach us the knowledge. I would like to go to Nos in this regard. Nos?
The
celestial knowledge.
I'm going to wait for, it's on the celestial side of things. I know we had a guest a while back that was talking along the same lines, with participation in external missions and such. And the thing I really want to ask at this point is where the concept or conviction first arrived for you with regard to Dracos being the enemies.
Yeah, the word enemy, that's so in the duality, right? If I see the bigger picture of it all, I just see it as a process. Just it's part of us. It's not really the enemy. I mean, it is to a certain degree, though. I mean, looking at the galactic history, the first invasion in Lyra, and the Anunnaki really wanted to commission the Dracos to do like their dirty work kind of thing, but the Draco, it's so complex, and there's so many different viewpoints, and I'm a Libra, so I consider everything. So my scales are like I'm trying to balance all that. It's almost like too much. There's so many. It's just like a planet, right? You have its shadow side and its lower octave, and then you have its highest expression. So it depends, on the species. You can't lump one species as all bad. You're going to have, aspects of it that are very like high and just like dragon energy, right? There's all kinds of dragons, red dragons, blue dragons, all of that. when the fallen aspects, though, when it becomes service to self, or it becomes vampiric, if it's lost its true connection to source energy, if it's gone on a soul journey and it's more about exploitation and what it can steal and what it can harvest and what it can take in order to gain power, versus being of service to others and being in benevolence and being, aligned with the regenerative power of nature, which is the ultimate power, that is the distinguishing thing. It doesn't matter if you're a gray, it doesn't matter if you're a Draco, it doesn't matter if you're a human, it doesn't matter if you're a seraphim or Elohim, because in every system, Arcturian, Andromedan, there's been something that has fallen. The fallen aspect is an experience, and it can get back up. It can transform. It can be like, oh, okay, I went on this journey and I learned all this, and now I'm like, okay, all the wiser. But if on that journey you develop a negative ego, like a narcissist, or, you become vampiric, you lose your connection to source, and you utilize technologies and programs and vicious attacks like human trafficking and pedophilia and satanic ritual abuse and MK Ultra to, do all of this. Whoa, are you far gone? Are you far gone? Because then at this point, it's hacking like God's creations and inverting it in order to maintain control and leverage the amnesia of people not remembering their galactic origins, and leveraging, their vulnerability of just being born into this world and just being put in front of a TV and just being like, hey, I'm just this.
Yeah, that's it. People are surrendering to their programming. That's pretty much the truth. I talk to a few people on a daily basis, trying to get across to them some of the things that are outside the box that we all confine ourselves to, unless we're looking outside the box, such as yourself. But most people are just focusing on the everyday things, like going to work, playing with the kids, taking care of the family, buying groceries, and having food on their table, and then coming home and getting in front of the TV, like you're saying. The problem is that's indoctrination, and the few of us that are out there trying to break the mold is very difficult. But there are some people on my panel that have been working toward raising our awareness in consciousness. One of them is Nos. She came out with a book called Conspiracy Prime, and I know it's available free on PDF, and I'm sure that Odessa can put it in private chat for you, Laura, but you should really check it out. But it talks about celestial histories that have been lost, along with some interesting aspects of Nos's life that turns you on to a much larger circumstance.
Yeah.
Right,
Cool.
that's going on with everyone. So when you talk about the indoctrination, and you talk about the programming, and you talk about the multiple layers of narratives and rhetoric, you are 100% correct. That is absolutely going on, and it's very difficult for just the average person to break free, because I've talked to friends that are really devout in their faith, and when I bring up the idea of life elsewhere, they're like, nah, and I'm like, well, doesn't it say in your doctrine that God created the heavens and the earth? So the heavens would be plural. So that could be anything. That could be the universe. It could be interdimensional realities. It could be anything. And they're like, wow, I never thought of it that way. See, people are programmed, and I do believe that. But I think we're trying really hard by bringing guests on, such as yourself, to break the mold.
Yeah. Yeah. Once a person establishes a belief and it begins to infect their ego, where it's just like, yeah, I'm standing for that, and yes, that's what it
Yeah.
is, and you wrap your whole world around it. A person gets so absorbed into it and that's what's so scary and dangerous. Like, and I see this all the time too. I just went on a walk with a neighbor, and it like really freaked me out. It was just like we were talking about just God and the Bible, and and then I brought up the mother, and she said, "There is no mother. There's only the father. The father." And it's just like, whoa, okay. Like, anyway, it's just, how is there a father and not a mother? And anyway,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And just the loss of the Sophionic awareness, the Sophia energy, and I was just, okay. Anyway, let's talk about the weather, and like maybe change the subject, so make it home. No, but still, just like respecting and appreciating that person. But it's just like, this is this person's identity. There is no room to
Mhm.
open that person up to anything else. And I like to be like, I don't have fixed beliefs. I like to be more fluid and just like, oh yeah, this is what I know. I'm living my truth, and this is what I've learned. This is here's maybe some wisdom that I have, and here's my stupid flaws, and I'm just fucked up.
Right.
And then yeah, it's like, this is the thing with the ego that is so hard to crack. It really takes a traumatic event, and that's like the Tower card and the Death card in the tarot.
Oh, yeah.
That is Uranus, that is Pluto in astrology, that literally throws a person into something that is so like shake up your life. It's not like, you can't look at it as bad or good karma. It's just an opportunity to just be like, whoa, all right, you have an opportunity, and you can visit a different part of yourself, perhaps. A lot of clients I have, they're like, yeah, that accident, that cancer, really woke me up. I had a chance to. And for other people, no, they get further meshed in the system and it kills them. But on a soul level, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's like school. It's like, or like just being a kid. You keep falling over when you're trying to walk, you'll eventually get there. The thing is, nature only knows how to repair and heal itself, and to, gain strength in the face of challenge. It's encoded in us. But the programmings, though, stunt our growth and keep us locked into a stagnation loop of, a lot of insanity that we just shouldn't waste our time on, so that we can just appreciate the growth periods and the opportunities to like take it to the next level when we're faced with the challenge, I guess. I don't know. I'm probably just rambling off. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
No, you're absolutely, I love absolutely everything you're saying. You hit something that like really struck me, and I know that I can't remember if I sent you a text or we're kind of talking about it, but when you're the tarot, like that's obviously like what you do and your thing. When I had my experience, and I have to ask because it just like kind of shook me, they showed me like what looked like the Fool's card, or like something in tarot. And I'm wondering if you can explain how that would have any connection.
The Fool card?
Yes.
Fool card is the best.
Mhm.
Fool card is a zero, right? And think about 0 point, you're in a place of like neutrality. You're back to your divine innocence. You're just in the flow. You're in the now. You're in the moment. And you're willing to take risks because you have a curiosity like a child, and there is a vulnerability there, but there is also like kind of a protection, and when the Fool like might find itself losing that, then it might go through all the different archetypes to get back to the Fool and just be like, ha ha ha, in the end, like, what did it bring you back to? Just realizing that you might have to connect with the crone, go through the underworld, and find a light of wisdom, and be prepared, but I think we're all of it. If we look at 12 strands of DNA, 12 zodiac signs, 22 major archetypes in the tarot, which isn't 12, but 22 major archetypes. We're never one thing without all the other stuff. We're constantly looking to find the pieces of ourselves that we're not experiencing. But it would be too much, when we come into this human experience, we'd spread ourselves too thin if we held it all, right? We're not going to wake up and just have our 12 strands all switched on. We'd be we wake up in this low density and we, feel into that vibration. So the whole idea of unity consciousness is that the 7 root races and the 5 cloister races were to repair the DNA architecture and the planetary grid network and, different covenants, the Emerald Covenant, to offset the invasion of, these nefarious forces. And that's a whole nother thing. But we have these archetypes and energies within us. When people fear the devil, you might get a tarot reading and get the devil card.
The devil's a wonderful card. Are you kidding me? That's a great card.
Exactly. It
I
means
love it, yeah.
power. How are you going to use that energy, though, is the question.
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do with it?
It's like the Lord of the Rings. People get, it's like when you see rich people, it's like, wow, you have all the blessings in the world and this is what you're doing with it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's like where blessings can corrupt and where, poverty can, also corrode, but also where it can also enlighten, right? It's like, no matter how far we are in the duality of it all, it'll eventually bring us back to the 0 point. And that's why we have these soul experiences, to experience all these different levels until we have some level of mastery where, we honor our blessings and we're in service to others. And yeah, I don't know if you guys agree. Wouldn't you think the world would be a little better looking than it's looking right now?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
A smidge. Just a smidge.
The stage of the game in 2024. I really didn't think we'd still be blasted with so much
Nonsense.
Yeah, I thought the world would be a
Nonsense.
little bit more awakened, but
Me too.
I guess what I'm trying to say, yeah, the Fool is that revelation, though. No matter the trials and tribulations, when you go through all these different other archetypes, you get back to that, place, of the 0. In this human realm, can we maintain it every day? No, it's kind of difficult, but we can consciously remind ourselves in every moment. You can just let it go.
Get back there for
Trust
sure.
yourself. Just nurture that inner child. Set yourself free and just maintain that connection with source, which is your connection with your soul, and being able to listen and hear yourself. It's the most natural thing. It doesn't need to come from a religion. It doesn't need to be pushed on you. You don't need to learn it. You already know it. Get in touch with it instead of thinking you need to learn it is the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I always say to people, I'm like, it's like thinking about plugging different things into an electric outlet. It's all going to the same source of energy. So it's all different, but it's going to the same source. So, it's like people are like, oh, okay, kind of understanding okay, it's like you're the toaster, I'm the microwave, but it's going to the same, energy source that's coming out. So yeah, that's awesome.
Diversity and harmony is true oneness. And that's what creates ecosystems in the web of life, right?
Absolutely.
You don't see and I say this too redundantly, you don't see dolphins being like, I wish I was a squirrel, or
right. The wolf doesn't wonder why it's raining. It just accepts that it is.
It just is who it is. And then, and everything in nature just knows what it's doing. But, then humans arrive, right? And we have all this, stuff, and we mess with the environment and this and that. But we also, on a soul level, we have a deep connection, back in ancient civilizations, and, we could shapeshift into eagles and be. And I'm not talking about manipulation of DNA and chupacabra or whatever, but
right.
But it's just the soul matrix, or the soul energy within us, is so connected to this, all of that. Yeah, I'm kind of taking us off on a different tangent. I just got back from a trip, so I haven't slept very good.
Yeah, you did. I saw your pictures, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
was-
made it back safe.
I saw your pictures too. You've been all over the place.
I know.
So we
So
know you've been
jealous.
busy.
Oh no, it was just a quick trip. Oh, we're all
Uh,
busy. We're all busy doing our busy things. We're
Right.
Yeah, it's the distraction of life. Busy.
exactly. Yeah, it's what
Yeah.
we do down here.
It's what we do.
We do have a question from the chat room. Richard Becker asks, so who are the Celestials? And
Well, people would say the Elohim, the Seraphim, right? Then there's the fallen aspects of the Elohim and Seraphim, and then you have the Guardian Founder races. To me, you know, the Lyrans, the Guardian Founder races, the Cosmic Trinity. I mean, celestial is a big word, you know.
It's an umbrella term. Yeah.
And the thing is, those realms exist, and our dormant DNA holds those levels. They've been shut down, and our science classes told us that's junk DNA. In actual fact, those are higher harmonic universes that have to do with connecting to the celestials. They called it junk because, oh, geez, humans would be way too empowered. They'd be way too in touch with their abilities. We'd take children way too seriously when they talk about their dreams and the extraordinary things that they see. That got all beat out of us. Not very nice. So we're celestial and grounding it on earth. When people talk about ascension or heaven on earth, if you look at astrology, it's the polarity of Neptune, Virgo, opposite each other. What is Neptune? The multidimensional, the unseen realms. Virgo, Earth, Mercury. The north and south node, which is like the Ouroboros, the serpent biting its tail, like the dragon, wants to integrate polarity. That's what the soul wants. It doesn't want to be in duality. It wants to integrate polarity. So if you look at the opposites, signs in astrology, it kind of shows like, oh yeah. So the Virgo energy that has to do with health and healing and wellness, well, if it integrated Neptune, that would be more of an understanding of a shaman, understanding the energy behind the physical. If there's an energy block or a belief system that is not in alignment with the truth of that human vessel, it's going to create dis-ease. You know, we keep talking about, you know, that's, you caught it from that, but what about something deeper than that? Why are some immune to it and others aren't, right? So all those kind of questions. Yeah. Oh my God. And my chart shows I think too much.
okay, we tend to think too much too. So
Oh, cool.
don't- you're part of
You're
the
fitting
group,
right
so-
in. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Believe it or not,
I
we're
love
really
it. I
enjoying
love
this.
it.
So I think
Oh, yeah,
what we're
we
gonna-
all should do a retreat and just like sit by the campfire and like not sleep for days. No.
That sounds like a plan. Come on over. I'm in
I love-
Texas. Bring it. Let's go.
yeah, I'm signing
ready.
up. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm
And-
game.
Yeah, same here. Let's go down the panel and take last questions and last comments, starting with Nicole.
Oh man, I know. There's so much of this. I'm just so glad that to have you on, and you know, some of this stuff. I mean, it's just so fascinating. I just love hearing you talk. So I appreciate you coming on. I know that you just got back, so I'll leave it at that. Yeah, it's great to see you.
You too.
Yeah, welcome home.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, guys. It's amazing to be here with you all. No, I was really looking forward to it. I just felt just the good energy, and I my intuition did not steer me incorrect.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So
Nancy.
we're closing now?
Almost. Nancy, go ahead.
Thank you for coming on. It was great to see you again. And I just love hearing about Thor and galactic history and things like that, because there's so much we don't know. And it's just, I find it fascinating.
I know, me too. I know, I learned so much from you guys, and I learned so much every day, and just more just keeps opening up. And that's what's really important, is that we don't let limitation and just belief systems to like hinder us from, and as we navigate, we can have discernment. We can take what resonates and we can just appreciate it, and we can be empowered enough to say, okay, that doesn't, regardless of what people think. It's like, let's just be freaking true to ourselves already.
It's totally unfair. You just answered the question I was going to ask without me asking. So thank you. You can skip me, I guess.
What was the question?
Well, when you kind of live in that space of just not having set, firm, rough beliefs, and just kind of going with that resonant flow with yourself, how do you find other people respond to you?
Well, I'm a work in progress. So I say this and I'm working on it. Like sometimes I'm just like, the whole like.
Often. Yes, often.
Yeah, I'm just, yeah. But it's sort of the anticipation is worse than actually being there. It's just like when you're there, it's like, oh yeah, no, it is all flowing. It's just sort of, navigating, just a self-appreciation. It's like we can define ourselves by others' projections and just
we learned to do that when we're like 3.
Outer voice of authority that ended up overtaking our inner voice. When a controlling person overtook your inner voice to where when you answer to yourself, you're answering to the, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. Oh my God, what will they think? Oh my God, this and that. That's not your inner voice. That is literally blocking you from hearing your truth and intuition. So I just, feel, and people like you and hang out with you, it's like easy to just like, be myself. Yeah. In other places, it's more like, oh, talk about something else and just
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I do. I do.
And, but we need to give ourselves more like hugs, which I was terrible at doing my whole life. I was just always hard on myself, or I took everything out on myself, or just, oh my God, it's me. And I learned to just appreciate myself a little bit more, and I'm still working on it. I just think, gosh, look what we're up against.
Yeah.
We're like swimming upstream, like big time, beyond like salmon's swimming upstream. It's like forces are literally
invading
every day. It's like a battle zone. And, and if we can find neutrality and we can find the humor and like-minded friends like you guys, right? And be true to yourself, and where it doesn't work out with somebody, it's not a failure. It's not something, sometimes I was like, wow, if I was my older sister who was more accomplished and went to college and this and that, if she awoken to what I know, my parents would have been totally receptive. Oh, Caroline, anything Caroline says, yeah. But me, it's like, oh no, conspiracy theory. Oh, she must be in a cult. Because I was like black sheep, didn't do well in school. I skipped classes. I'm like, God, why would you like? You like what happened? Right. So, and that's why I'm like really freaked out if my parents read my book. But but it's just so weird, right? How it all it's like the worst kind of. So it just ends up being complete and total comedy, I think. I mean, you just gotta laugh.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you just gotta love no matter what. It's like that is my default.
Oh, I can't help that. That's just literally my nature. It's just what's gonna happen.
Say that again.
I said that I can't help that. That's just my nature. That's exactly what's just gonna happen. I can't help it. That's just literally what I exist for.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, I feel the same. It's like no matter what our differences are, it's like I would rather change the conversation. I don't need to be right because I don't feel I'm right. Because your truth, I honor your truth. That's
all
sacred.
right.
And that is a part of your soul growth. You need to go through this. That is your experience. I don't have a better answer, but if you don't have an open mind in me, that's fine. But we can still love each other. And that's
Thank
Right.
you.
I don't ever want to lose. And that is something I was surprised my family actually does hold, even though I'm really not in touch with them. So yeah, we'll see. I
Who
haven't even
knows?
told them I'm doing this
Summer
book.
of Love 2024. There you go.
Right. Hey, could happen.
So yeah, no, I think love, it's so cool. You guys are amazing. I just really enjoyed being here with you.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for being
Thank
here. Nos, do you have a last comment?
I do. This is a getting to know you question. You get inside information that in a day, the human species will be extinct. What are you having for dinner tonight?
What am I having for dinner? And the human
Yeah.
race being extinct? Yeah.
Yeah,
You can wipe
everyone's
out
gonna
something, but
be
you know,
gone.
just like you can wipe out the whales, or does it not move on to another dimension, a higher dimension, a higher experience? You know, we don't get wiped out. You know, if we're trying to
Yeah.
rescue a planet that is designed to destroy the most sacred and beautiful things, it thrives and exists somewhere else because we always live on. We're infinite beings. My husband, who was an amazing chef, made me the most awesome freaking stir fry before we today. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Kevin.
Oh yeah.
We heard him.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. The years of pandemic were Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto conjunctions, and was really weaponizing or leveraging and creating psyops out of this huge transformational process that was really available to humans. Instead, it caused fear of death, fear of each other, closing throat chakra, communication, censorship. So in the face of these attacks, this is where we need to thrive and let it just push us in a different direction to come amongst ourselves with each other to do this. And this is what we're doing today, and this is what you guys do. So keep up the fucking awesome work, you guys. I know I dropped a few F-bombs there. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're all right.
That's okay. Lenny in the chat says, I like her.
We do.
I know, we
nice.
love her. Yeah, she's good. Oh my gosh, I love
Oh my gosh, I love you guys.
her.
It's been really fun.
Also from Odessa, Laura and I are so much alike and yet different enough to really engage and learn from each other. I can't wait to chat again.
Yay. Totally. That's how it is too.
Yeah, that's how it works.
We all have so many different pieces, and it's just, you know, it's like adding more to an orchestra. It's like if you're playing the bass, you're playing the guitar. It's like, oh, there's a drummer. Oh, there's a, you know, it's like, oh, the more the merrier. It makes better music instead of like, oh, I'm gonna hit my tambourine on your freaking violin and like fuck. No,
Laura, I want to say this to you. I thank you very much for you spending your gracious amount of time this evening with us.
it's been so wonderful.
You are more than welcome to come back and join us anytime to continue the discussion in different avenues and directions. That's fine with us, as long as you're here to share it with everyone.
I'll always be just really happy to be in your guys' presence and just to connect. And yeah, we'll definitely stay connected and in touch. So thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
All right,
We
bye.
want to thank everybody who participated in the chat room and everybody who watched online. And we would like to invite you to come next week because we have another really inspirational guest by the name of Drew Banky.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Nicole has brought him to the channel. So we will most definitely let you know a little bit about our plans. I know Nicole would like to tell you a little bit ahead of time. Nicole, can you regale us a little bit with what your plans are for Drew?
Yeah, Drew wanted to demo. If you wanted to participate, he's got an experiment, a telekinetic experiment. So he said if you have the dowsing rods, I saying it incorrectly, I apologize.
Dowsing.
Or dowsing, yeah, or a crystal that can be like a pendulum. And he uses a lighter. I don't know if it's just to kind of center it. Yeah, but if you want to participate in it, he's going to be demonstrating it next week, and we'll put more information too on the Facebook channel. And I'm sure, you know, maybe you could put like something out there. So just be looking for it. Be looking
Right.
for it.
We will update everybody on UFO Man Nation on our Facebook group. And on the UFO Man Facebook group as well. So if you're not a member already, please join our group and stay informed. So we're going to let you go for this evening. We really enjoyed engaging with you in the chat room, and we hope that everybody who watched online had a very good evening. And from all of us on the panel, good night.
Good night.
We would like you to join us on Wednesday, February 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for the interview of Drew Banky. He is an alien contactee, an Iraqi war veteran, a medicine man, and a ufologist. He will focus on Native American folklore regarding alien contact, consciousness, and its connection to the UFO phenomenon, his personal encounters, and other topics as they arise. We at the UFO Man team hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and good night.